Alright. I think it's about time I played Pokemon Infinite Fusion. I'm sure you already know how this game works. I catch Pokemon, I fuse Pokemon. So let's get it. I'm gonna be playing this in hard mode, so the game is at least a challenge, and if I'm feeling this game later on, I'll play it again in modern mode. But for now, the rules are on screen, and this is Pokemon Infinite Fusion. Now the entire premise of this game is based on the fact that I have to make fusions to use my Pokemon, so I'll only end up with half the encounters that I could have. But this game makes up for it by making sure you get plenty of encounters. I won't be able to show every single one I get, but I can show the first couple. To start my fusion journey, I first fuse Bulbasaur and Hoot Hoot into my first fusion, Hootsaur, and then I immediately get Pursuit Trapped. So on my first real attempt, I refuse the Hootsaur again along with a Patata and a Kukuki. Oh god, yeah, these names I'm gonna have to get used to. These are the only 3 fusions I want to acquire before the first gym. I can catch more individual Pokemon, but I want to save them for better fusions later on, so I'm boxing them for now. So there's nothing else left to do except fight the first gym. Now, this game is based upon the first generation Encanto, and includes Pokemon from generations 1 and 2, and some selective Pokemon from other generations. The gym leader battles are balanced in a way such that you can't just steamroll them with a bunch of encounters. This means that not only am I playing with a level cap, but I'm also restricted to using the same number of Pokemon as my opponent. This means that I can only bring in the best 2 Pokemon into the Brock fight. Brock is normally a rock gym leader, but now has access to fusions to cover for his weaknesses. His GOG is Flying Rock type, which counters my Grass Hootsaur, but I sleep part of the GOG to put it to sleep, then Leech Seed it to get some consistent health back. Once the GOG is low enough, I can Vine Whip it to knock it out. This sends in his Dignix. Not only does fusing combine typing, but also the stats. This fusion has the speed of Diglett combined with the defense of Onix, but their offense is still just as bad. I put them to sleep and Leech Seed for health back, and on the next turn, Vine Whip can knock it out to easily earn us the first badge. Moving forward towards Mount Moon, I encounter Cleffa as my encounter. This game operates on Gen 7 mechanics, which means that fairy types are indeed in the game. This makes the potential for fusion so much more interesting. As I run through the cave like it did through my grades, I notice Team Rocket in the cave. As I continue through the cave, I slowly encounter more and more rocket grunts, and I see machinery in the next room over. As I get closer and closer, more grunts start to appear until I find the bulk of them. Looks like we're all set. I'll finish up final preparations and we'll be ready to launch the test. I don't want to mess with that. I'm gone. Bye-bye. It seems Team Rocket is trying to make a triple fusion. I go and stop them, but they send in the fossil guy to stop us. Oh no! It's seen too much! It's seen too much! When I try to fuse the 3 Pokemon, their machines combust and their experiment fails. Clearly, someone failed Genetics 101. As I exit the cave, I make sure to pick up the Helix fossil for an Omastar later on. Then I head towards Cerulean City to find Misty. I look through the city a bit to see if there's any encounters or important items I can get, but before I can do anything too significant, we get ambushed by a rival Blue. He leads with a Nidoto fusion, and we get off some good damage on the first turn, but we immediately get poisoned and miss our next 2 attacks. Once I'm able to Hyper Fang again, I can pick up the kill, but Pataki also goes down to the poison damage. I send in Noxor and he counters with Squirtmeleon. I set up another Sleep Powder Leech Seed, but once it wakes up, a Fire Fang does huge damage. I swap to Pukuki as the Leech Seed keeps me healthy, and a couple Karate Chops manages to chip down the Squirtmeleon. His Mantana Seismic tosses Pukuki down to half health, but we can retaliate and one-shot with a Karate Chop. His Apra also goes down and we win the fight. To replace the lost Paticate, I make another fusion, arguably the best so far. By fusing Pineco and Clefairy, in the future it'll have the best type combination of Steel and Fairy type. I also make a Meowth Fearow fusion, which combines the attack of Fearow with Technician, giving us access to the extremely broken early game Technician fake out with Aerial Ace. After defeating all the trainers on Nugget Bridge, we also have to face the Grunt at the end, where he tries to recruit us for Team Rocket. I find Bill's house at the end of Route 25, and it seems I've caught him in the middle of some kinky Pokemon activities. After helping him unfuse from Rhydon, he gives us an SS ticket. But seriously though, could you imagine fusing with a Pokemon? I mean, shit, me and Lop. After exploring pretty much all of the city, I get ready to face Misty. She leads with a Jigglydean, and I use a combination of Technician Fake Out to deal massive damage, then take it out with Aerial Ace before she can even do anything. Alright, Fake Out. So much damage. So much damage. Her second Pokemon is Oddyu, which is part Grass type. And Aerial Ace. Second gym badge obtained without taking any damage. Technician, this Pokemon's too good. It's too good. It's so good. After walking down to Route 6, we reach Vermilion City, where I can face Lieutenant Surge. Another feature of this game is quests, and quests are, well, like they imply, quests, side challenges that you can complete for gifts and items. One quest reward is with this fisherman. If you can find his old boot, he'll reward you with a Wooper, a potential ground type fusion we can use for a Lieutenant Surge. I head to Diglett's cave to catch a Diglett, as well as some other Pokemon from the surrounding routes. Then I fuse together Butter Trio, the fast compound ice sleep powder user. The SS ticket allows us to hop on the SSN, where we have to progress the story first. We have to face off against Blue in another surprise battle. His Nidodo goes down to the power of my Meowrose fake out Aerial Ace, and I swap into Butter Trio to sleep the Manecate and Bulldoze to chip it down and kill it. Let's go Bulldoze, I guess. This thing is... nothing stops this thing. Starbraw's out next, and we can pick up the kill with Sleep Powder Silverweed. It's beautiful. He then sends in Watermelon, the Fire-Water starter fusion. Again, I can outspeed it to put it to sleep, and Bulldoze it down for super effective damage. Is this Fire-Water? Fire-Water. This thing is just too good. With Blue defeated, we find the captain and he gives us the cut TM so that we can move on to face Surge. All of Surge's Pokemon have one obvious ground weakness, so I'm anticipating some water or grass Pokemon to counter our ground types. His lead is Voltbeat, which I can Sleep Powder and Leech Seed for the easy kill, but I want to send in Butter Trio first before Voltbeat dies, so that Butter Trio is already in when they send in their next Pokemon. Sure. Piccolet comes out next, which is hyper frail and dies to a single Bulldoze, and out comes Rybuzz, his ace. Rybuzz? I Bulldoze it down to bring it down to half health, and now with its speed lowered and quick attack unable to kill me, a second Bulldoze picks up the kill and earns us our third badge. Easy! Look at that. I head back up to Cerulean and then east towards Dark Cave, but before doing so, I make sure to evolve Hootsaur into its final evolution. Look at that beast of a Pokemon. One of the trainers on Route 10 offers us a trade of Pokemon. If we give him a Fairy type, he'll give us one of his own fusions. And so that's another method in this game of obtaining encounters. There's also an additional encounter I missed in Bill's house. I can enter cyberspace to retrieve a Porygon encounter, and since it's technically a different location, it means that Bill hasn't done no kinky shit with it. Now that we're ready to move forward, I enter Rock Tunnel where we do a bunch of navigation. We get to see a bunch of good strong Pokemon, but I make sure to hold off on my encounter for one very specific Pokemon. Somewhere deep in the cave, you can find a little grove, and in there we can receive a Honedge from an old man, which is arguably one of the best Pokemon to make fusions with. A Honedge! That is really fucking nice. After a couple more minutes of navigation, I find the exit which leads me to Lavender Town. I trek up Pokemon Tower just to get ambushed by Blue again. My Pokemon's levels are much higher than his though because I'm leveled up to the next level cap. There isn't much else to do in the tower, but I just want to point out how stupid this puzzle is. There's a room full of Haunters floating around. You need to get past the room without touching the Haunters, because otherwise they'll send you right down to the previous floor. It's not a hard puzzle, except for the fact that the Haunters will chase you, and 9 times out of 10, you will be touched like a stripper at a bachelorette party. I head over west to Celadon City where I can progress with my journey. In Celadon, there's a woman who asks you to walk her Eevee and to only return after enough exercise. I accept this favor and immediately pocket the Eevee for myself, like that one friend who vapes and asks to take a hit. I actually find Erica, who's our 4th gym leader to face, in the Celadon sewers, where Team Rocket's secret hideout is located. It's also here that I catch a Grimer for myself. After figuring out the water flooding puzzle, I split with Erica to solve a tile puzzle in the next room over, but Giovanni was having none of this and demands we battle him. Arnix is a poison rock type, so I swapped a Golzar to hit some super effective water moves. Our Aqua Tail deals damage bringing him down to the yellow, but I forgot that the Arnix fusion combines the defense of Onix with the attack of Arbok, and they let in Rock Slide for huge damage. I swap into Clefairy, who's my bulkiest Pokemon so far, and Mirror Shot to pick up the kill. Ryrus is a ground ice type, so Mirror Shot is the obvious answer. The levels just suddenly caught up to us, I have to say. The levels just suddenly caught up to us. Yeah, okay. I don't know what that... Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm just playing into every single crit, aren't I? I swap out to Para to counter Honkan, which dishes massive damage with Dizzy Punch, and I realize that I have nothing for this Ghost Normal type. I deal some chip damage with Bite, and sack Para to bring in Puku-Ape, who can revenge kill with Thief. Even though it's just a small mini-boss battle with only 3 Pokemon, I've learned a couple things. First of all, whenever I'm looking at a fused Pokemon, I need to be aware of what moves it can learn. Not only will fusions have access to moves of its own typing, but they can still learn moves of the typing it's lost from fusions. Secondly, I need better and more varied Pokemon. I'm currently relying on 2 to 3 cheap strategies, which may work for individual one-on-one battles, but for major boss battles, they won't hold up. And thirdly, Ghost Normal is a wicked typing. To make up for some dead Pokemon, I fused together Grimer and Twagsire into Clodsire, and Magnemite together with Coughing to obtain a Steel Poison type with Levitate, a ridiculous combination. With these fusions added to my team, it means I can finally move on to Erica. She starts with Exit Duo, which can be simply Sludge Bomb for the kill. Then she sends in the Grass Fighting Tenade, which can also be one-shot by Noxor with an Air Slash. Finally, their Vilebell is a Grass Poison fusion, which Magnezone counters quite nicely with its Steel Poison type and retaliates with Sludge Bombs for the victory. Why couldn't the mini-bosses be as easy as its gym leaders? In order to wake up the Snorlax on Route 12, I need to get the Pokeflute, which is located at the top of the Pokemon Tower. While navigating through, some tragedy struck. I was looking at the item list to see what was available in the tower when I allowed Magnezing to be taken down by a Shadow Ball. This was my mistake. It shouldn't have been there in the first place. What? I was not paying attention. I'm looking at shit. In order to recuperate my losses, I had to go back to the box to make some more fusions. First, a Genroad, which combines the speed of Electrode with the power of Gengar. Then, Arbok with Pidgeot, which allows us to get Intimidate on the fusion. Reaching the bridge on Route 12, we wake up the Snorlax, which also conveniently becomes our encounter for that route. Progressing towards the next city is just a bunch of trainers with cool fusions, but I want to highlight this one trainer. All of his fusion Pokemon are name titles. Mr. King, King King, and King Queen. I don't know, I just found that funny. After all the routes and trainers, I finally reached Fuchsia City. Not only is Fuchsia where I faced the 5th gym leader, but also home of the Safari Zone where you can catch a Trapinch on the first ball. Remember what I said about Ghost Normal types being cracked? Remember the Honedge I got in Rock Tunnel? Remember the Snorlax on Route 12? I think we know where this is going. Inside the 5th gym is a bunch of invisible barriers that forms a maze that we need to puzzle through. It doesn't take long for us to reach Koga. Koga starts the battle with a Venomer, a cute poo with wings. I minimize with Clodsire to increase evasiveness and Earthquake it down to kill. His Magnifying perfectly counters us with Steel type and Levitate, so I yawn it to sleep and slowly chip it down for the kill. He sends in Chinook, the same turn I send in Clodsire, and we both start increasing our evasiveness. Huge attack. Oh, come on. We can both play this game. He also raises his defense, which starts to concern me, but we luckily manage to hit an Earthquake to quickly take it out. So let's Earthquake. Bro, that's a lot of damage. Okay, easy. Okay, we're good. We're out. We're done. We're done. Okay, last Pokemon. His last Pokemon is Beether, which is a pure bug type. This means I can send in Golur, who can Rock Tomb for the easy kill, earning us a 5th badge. You're gone. Easy! Not too bad, not too bad. Not too bad. Nice. With the 5th badge now in possession, I have access to Saffron City where I can fight off Team Rocket and Silphco. This is a huge building with a bunch of grunts, and with so many grunts using so many Pokemon, you get to see a bunch of great sprites for fusions. But some of them aren't as cool. Oh my god. This thing looks horrible. Look at that thing. Oh my god. Imagine this thing looking at you, like down the street. You'd be so creeped out. I spent another half hour navigating through the building when I can finally reach the last area where Blue is waiting for us. This time his levels are really caught up, so he's ready to fight us in a proper battle. I start by putting his Nidogeot to sleep, swapping to Golur who can 2-shot with Rock Tomb. Oh my god. This baits out Electados. Your levels are so high. Oh my god, that looks so sick. It starts setting up Dragon Dances as I go for a yawn. We're gonna get swept. We're gonna get swept. It does have Crunch to deal super effective stab damage, so I King's Shield in between to protect myself and lower its attack. Miraculously, it does stay asleep for 3 turns in a row, which allows us to Body Slam thrice for the kill. Okay. When Watermelon comes out, I send in my Golzard. This was a mistake. First of all, we're both fire-water types, which is dangerous for both of us, and I got my ass blasted by Hydro Pumps like a white person using a bidet for the first time. I send out Slowplume who can surf and kill, and swap to Snorlash again to yawn to set up the kill on Starbra. Finally, his last Pokemon is a regular Tauros. Snorlash can stall it out with King's Shield, and eventually, Body Slam picks up the kill. From one battle to the next, we immediately have to face Giovanni in a double battle alongside Blue. Up until now, all the battles have been pretty easy so far, but this is probably the first run killer in this game. I start by sleep powdering the Ryrus as Nido hits wing attacks on Primarino. I swap for Argiot as a second wing attack takes out the Primarino, and I immediately get Sheer Colded. And it just straight up lands a Sheer Cold. What am I gonna do? Oh my god. I send in Noxor, and they send in their Genkan, the same deadly Pokemon combination again. I sleep the Ryrus as it gets hit with a Thrash and Grass Clutch the Ryrus for damage. Giovanni heals up Ryrus as Genkan outrages me twice, and I roost up for some health back as Ryrus wakes up to Sheer Cold me again. Bro, that's... Do I not understand how Sheer... Oh no, you're right, it is no guard. The Nidogeot has no guard. Oh my god. I know that this combination of mechanics doesn't work in the regular games, but maybe that's how it works in this game. Either that or I'm just extremely lucky, but either way, we're in trouble. Sand Queen sets up Sandstorm and boosts its own evasion as well with Sand Veil. It also synergizes perfectly with Genkan, whose Levitate resists Earthquakes. EQ hits us to deal damage, and I yawn the Sand Queen. I then King's Shield as Nido hits a Thrash and Sand Queen falls asleep. Blue then Earth powers the Nido Queen for the kill, and I King's Shield as Nido roosts for health back. Then, on the next turn, Nido can land a wing attack to chip the Genkan for the kill. As thanks for liberating him from Team Rocket's grasp, Mr. Sylph gives us a Totodile in gratitude. From the Fighting Dojo in Saffron, we can also choose to have one of the 3 Hitmons. The correct answer is obviously Hitmontop for access to Intimidate or Technician. Navigating through Sabrina's gym of panels, I reach the final room to face off against her. For this battle, I decide to brute force against her team by using Geode, but the Hitmime immediately sets up a nasty plot, so I have to take it out ASAP. Espeon is a Psychic Dark type. I swap to Cleftress to hit Draining Kiss to heal back health every turn, but it deals way too much damage with Future Sight, and it's way too bulky with Light Screen setup. I swap to Togemoth to get off some Sleep Powder, but I forgot that a Future Sight was used a turn ago, and Togemoth kills itself from the Future Sight. I do some more pivoting with Cleftress until its Light Screen wears off, and then I knock it out with another Draining Kiss. I swap to Geode who can kill the Alabro with Electro Balls, and our last Pokemon is Genkazam. We're definitely faster since we're fused with Electrode, and Shadow Ball is quad effective to pick up the kill, earning us the 6th gym badge. The next location of interest is Cinnabar Island. At this point in time, Cinnabar is still a luscious green island with people roaming around, but precariously, there's just an Absol chilling on the island, just looking over the edge. I wonder what that's about. Over in Saffron, you can enter this building at night to find a strange staticking TV just in the middle of the room, and in the game corner of Celadon, I can buy myself a Dratini encounter. Immediately, I fuse together Gyarados and Dragonite to get Garanite, and I also fuse together Rotom and Eevee and evolve it into Sylveon. This gives us a great pivot Pokemon with 4 immunities. Before I go on to fight Blaine, there's a whole lot more encounters I can catch. Some of them are from water routes, some of them are hatched from eggs, and so I spend an hour or so with chat fusing some Pokemon just as backup in the box. In terms of game progression though, the next destination I actually have to go to is Mount Ember. Immediately I see that the place is overrun with rocket grunts. Not a good sign. And as I penetrate deeper, I start to see more technology and more grunts, which gives me a bad feeling. It's almost like they're guarding something. Eventually I reach what seems to be the lowest floor, where I come face to face with Giovanni. Just like the other 2. Speaking of which, now would be a good time to bring them out. This is the moment that Team Rocket rises to previously unreachable heights. Shall we do it now, boss? Yes, it is time. Fuse the 3 legendary birds. Zapmolkuno? That's what we're calling it, right? Ha, truly no one will dare mess with us now. No, you do not understand what this means for Team Rocket. This is a Pokemon that is superior to every single other Pokemon that exists. By having it under our control, we are now truly free to do whatever we want. No more having to operate in secret. We can rule over everything and everyone. Gym leaders, the Elite Four, they cannot match up against this Pokemon. In fact, there isn't a single person in the world who has the power to stop us. My brain, I'm speaking faster than my brain is reading. And if not even the Elite Four can stop this beast, then tell me what exactly it is that you're doing. Oh my god. Fuck my asshole. Then tell me exactly what it is you're trying to achieve here, Doc Z. Did you think I did not know that you had infiltrated our operation? My little henchmen have been telling me everything. I do not appreciate how you keep meddling in our affairs. But this time, you were too late. As I was telling my underlings, there isn't a single person who can pose a threat to Team Rocket anymore. Shall help me demonstrate this fact. Zapmolkuno, the first triple fusion. It has a typing of all 3 legendary birds, with each head a different typing. Since each head has their own health bar, they all get to attack you individually, so this is a 3v1. Instead of that, I forego all planning and just use Parasong. Seriously, look, I tried to find a way that's foolproof, but this was the best that I got. Not the most creative, but hey, a win is a win. With Zapmolkuno defeated, the fusion breaks and the birds are released. They are available for capture, so I start with Moltres. It does take a couple balls, but I do manage to capture it. With Giovanni gone, I can now take a quick detour to Sevi Island, which gives us a Sinnoh starter in Piplup. I can also find an egg to hatch over in the next route. Okay, that's not a Poniard, but I'm not complaining. I fly back to Route 25 where the power generator is located, and I can find the second legendary bird, Zapdos. Finally, I can surf over to Seafoam Islands where the third legendary bird is located. None of them are necessary for the progression of the game, but they're all very good Pokemon for me to catch and use in a later fusion. After spending some time making some fusions, I prep my team for the battle with Blaine. I start by baiting fire moves with Cleftress and encoring the opponent into Flamethrower to lock them in. Definitely a risky strategy, but at this point, I have enough encounters that risks like these are worth the payout. I swap to Garonite who can set up 2 Dragon Dances and clean up the rest of his team with Aqua Tails to sweep. The Aqua Tail. Okay, that's 1. Chartdactyl. That's 2. Okay, that was Pasho Berry. And good night. I head back to Viridian City to face Giovanni where I can hopefully win the final gym badge. After selecting the 5 Pokemon to battle with, I enter the fight. He starts with his Ryrus. I encore him into Bulldoze and swap to Garonite to knock it out with Aqua Tails. Since Bulldoze did lower my speed, Glissator's Earthquakes deal some massive damage as Aqua Tail retaliates and knocks it out. I swap to Puku-Ape on the Go-Champ as it lands an EQ, then swap to Empoleon who can resist with Levitate. Surf can then knock it out as it tries to go for a counter. Electatrio sets up a light screen and Discharge paralyzes us. I swapped to Cleftress to stall a few turns but forgot that I had access to ground moves. Cleftress unfortunately goes down and I send an Empoleon to use Surf but we get fully paralyzed. Here I have to regain momentum by sacking Puku-Ape to send in Garonite safely. Electatrio light screens, which gives us the opportunity to Aqua Tail and knock it out. Finally is Rylax. I swap to Waymans to get off an Intimidate and dive underwater to hit it for half health, but it lands a Horn Drill to one-shot Waymans out of existence. Bro, are you serious? Turns out I could have just swapped the Empoleon to stall it out since it only has ground and normal attacks, both of which Empoleon resists, but I didn't know that. Eventually we do manage to pick up the win, but with quite a few deaths on our hand. Now with all badges in our possession, we can move on to the Elite Four. With Victory Road left in the way, I also need to clear through Blue. His team is still the same as the last time we fought him, so I can just set up 4 Dragon Dances and Aqua Tail sweeps his entire team. But now that we're near the end of the game, there aren't many places left for us to catch Pokemon. Knot Island has an NPC from Unova who gives us a Poniard egg, and I can make a trade with a trainer, Dodrio for Skarmory. There's also a Mawile that I can kidnap in Crimson City. And finally, Victory Road itself holds our last encounter. This is the last encounter we can get. After spending some time fusing Pokemon together, I'm now ready to take on the Elite Four. The team consists of Empoleon, Sylvetom, Garonite, Omasharp, Flyte, and Lapert. The first opponent is Lorelei, leading with Firewater Magong. Garonite here is the clear best answer. We can set up Dragon Dances to +4 and knock out her entire team like Floyd Mayweather. That's 1. That's 2. Okay. Nice, nice. Okay. Not too bad. Bruno leads his battle with Mavire, who we simply Moonblast to pick up the kill. Then I can protect with Lapert to scout his next moves, and, well, there's the Iron Tail. I think we're actually faster. Let's protect to scout, see what it does. Okay, if it's gonna Iron Tail, we can just Shell Smash then. Yeah. EQ. Nice. Surf. Of Scizor, which means we Earthquake here. Okay, it's another Earthquake. Ooh. Okay, I didn't consider. Okay, there it goes down. Last Pokemon. Okay. Agatha the Ghost Member is a fight that I have to play by ear since I don't have the best counters. I Lumberry Omasharp to cure myself from the Confuse Ray, which gives us a turn to get a free Shell Smash. I'm not too confident that she can be a sweep, but like I said, we play this by ear. Yeah, I was right about the Confuse Ray. But we just have to be able to kill now. That doesn't look too strong, honestly. Yeah, okay. That's 2, but regardless, we surf anyway, even if it's not fire. Yeah. Let's try that. Maybe get the flinch. There it is. Okay. Okay, that's good, that's good, that's good. Cool. Snorgar. Although this is pretty specially bulky. It probably would have survived. No paralysis, that's good. Okay, it dies. Easy. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. Finally is Lance and his team of Draconic Pokemon. His Dragonitos lead is Dragon Water, which means that Moonblast can pick up the kill. Toganite comes out, and I Moonblast to check my damage, and seeing how his attack barely did much to me, Sylvetom can stay in to feint the Toganite. The Tyrannodactyl combines the bulk and power of Tyranitar with the speed of Aerodactyl. I pivot through Impogias to resist a Brave Bird, and swap into Omasharp to resist Dragon Rush, and Shell Smash allows us to build attack to Ironhead Tyrannodactyl. Missed the Head Smash is good for us. Perfect. Typhnair counters my Omasharp, so I make the swap into Flyte to tank a Fire Blast. We're okay with that. We're okay with that. I set up a D-Dance, but we get hit by a Dragon Tail to be forced out into Lappert. That's my bad. Damn, okay. I then Shell Smash with Lappert, hoping to set up a kill. But don't Dragon Tail, don't Dragon Tail. Actually, I think the fact that we went first means it's gonna Dragon Tail, yeah. Fuck! I swap in a Garanite to intimidate the Typhnair and Dragon Claw to kill it immediately. We're just gonna Dragon Claw immediately. No need to... Yeah. I can't be too dependent on my Shell Smashes. His final Pokemon is Porygra, whose download boosts his attack. I pivot through Sylvetom to resist the Dragon moves, then Moonblast the Porygra for the victory. Okay. Easy. This means that with all 4 Elite Four members defeated, there is one last battle before we can claim victory to this challenge. I hope so. Entering the battle, I lead off with my Garanite against his Nidogeot. Nidogeot? Poison Flying, I believe? He sets up a Swords Dance, but he's only at +1 due to Intimidate. Let's be careful here. You are Intimidate though, so you're only +1. So I will go for another one. I set up my own Dragon Dances to +2 and Dragon Claw Nidogeot to take it out. Say goodbye. $69. Rymortar. Aquatail one-shots as Rymortar, and out comes his Tortar. Unless it has Sturdy, which it doesn't. Oh my god. I keep not thinking about this. Tortar has Intimidate, which lowers my attack, but since Garanite is decently bulky, I hit an Aquatail to do some decent damage. I think we can just Aquatail kill this. We're only +1, so it's not... Blue heals with a full restore, and I also take the turn to Roost. That's fine. Seeing as how his Zen Headbutts always does less damage than Roost heals, I jump back and forth between D-Dancing and Roosting until Aquatail can one-shot the Tortar. Let's kill. Perfect. I think we can sweep from here. Let's Dragon Claw. If you die, you die. Yeah. Yeah. Easy! Not too bad. Not the worst. Not the worst. What a fun run. This has probably been one of the most interesting games concept-wise. The variety of Pokemon has exploded in this game due to the fusion mechanic, which gave Nuzlocking a whole new dimension. This game has absolutely been fun to play, and I'm sure I will in the future, but this challenge isn't done yet. There's still all of Johto to play through and explore, which means that in the next video, you'll see me playing through the second half of this game. But until then, stay tuned.